I'm a salesman and I sell something special. Normally I sell in towns, but, well, I've decided to move to the countryside and try that for a while. What I sell needs a special kind of customer. The trusting kind that's not too difficult to convince. That's why I have to be very careful in selecting my customers. This place belongs to Farai Musanika, and I've heard he might be suitable for my purpose. Yes. I think I'll try. I could see right away that Farai was the right kind of customer for me. I know his innocent type only too well. So I went ahead with my sales talk and told him that I was selling a very special kind of tree. A tree that could make him rich. A tree that could grow money. Farai didn't believe me at first. I expected that. After all, who would believe in a money tree just like that? But the way to sell money trees is to let the customer put it to the test and prove it for himself. So I told Farai, all right, don't take any chances. Just try one tree. If it doesn't grow any money for you, then you don't have to pay me anything at all. What could be fairer than that? It was a good deal for Farai because it did not cost him any money at all. He had nothing to lose. He made the hole deep enough for the plant. He mixed the soil with fertilizer. Then he carefully removed the plastic wrapping. He placed the plant in the hole and covered the roots with the soil and stamped it down firmly. Then he gently watered the seedling. Farai was doing the same as all the other customers. He planted the tree straight away and did so properly, the way trees should be planted. Farai would doubt at this stage that the tree would grow any money, but he would carry on with the experiment and wait and see if the money would appear. He wouldn't tell anybody else about his money tree. That's something people don't boast about to others. Farai would tend his plant carefully, but nothing would happen for a few days. He would start wondering whether the tree wasn't just an ordinary tree. This is where I would make sure that Farai would not be disappointed.
I was starting to have doubts that my money tree would ever sprout dollars. And then one morning, when I went to see my tree, well, I just couldn't believe my eyes. There was money growing out of it everywhere. 20s, 10s, 5s, everything. And it was real money, all right? still couldn't believe it, but I had to. I was holding the proof in my hands. But now I had other doubts. Would that salesman Simba ever come back? But happily enough, Simba did come back. I was worried he might have sold all his plants already. Money trees would surely be in demand. I was in luck. He hadn't sold the rest of his trees yet. I offered to buy all his seedlings, but he seemed a bit doubtful at first, until I pointed out that he didn't have a place to grow them anyway. Then he agreed to sell me the lot. I reckon I can be quite a salesman when I want to be. And I always wanted to be a rich man one day, and now I was going to be. But first, the trees had to be planted. I got my sons, and we went ahead with the task according to all the rules of correct planting. Only the best would be good enough for my money trees. First, the ground had to be plowed, and I was in a hurry. In no time, the plowing was done. Now I could get on with planting the trees. It was a job for more than one man, of course. But then, what does a man have a family for if they can't help when they are needed most? And I needed the whole family to help me in this task right now. There, all planted and all done correctly. Only the best is good enough for my money trees. I wasn't going to lose hundreds of dollars due to some of the trees not starting to grow money just because they hadn't been planted correctly. As soon as the trees started growing, so did the weeds. But no weed was going to drain energy from those money trees. Not $1, not even 1 cent. That's better. Now, my lovely money trees, just you go ahead and produce that money for me. Every time I walked through my woodlot, I couldn't help thinking about the future and of my trees blooming. I could almost hear the tingle of coins and the rustle of dollar notes in the breeze. But what's this? Termites! Termites! Termites in my trees, chewing up my precious notes and coins. Who knows how many dollars they might already have eaten, but not 1 single cent more. There. That's taken care of those termites. Let's see any termite trying to get its teeth into my money now. Those trees were special, and they were going to get all the attention they needed. Only the best was good enough for my money trees. And what now? Cattle. How can people dare let their cattle come and feed in my woodlot? Hey, get away, you stupid beasts! One mouthful of leaves taken by the cow could be worth at least $20, and a mouthful taken by the bull maybe even $100. There's only one way to keep animals out. I would have to fence in the whole plantation. Fencing costs money, sure, but it saves a lot more. Only the best is good enough for my money trees. The trees were growing very well, with all the attention I gave them. Day by day I would go and check them. I was hoping to see, one day, that the trees had suddenly sprouted money overnight. Yet, sad to say, the years were going by, and the trees weren't producing any money at all. But I'd seen the results with my own eyes. But then, is it, or could it be, possible that Simba the salesman had cheated me? I didn't like to think that I could be easily fooled. I could only hope these money trees were a slow-growing variety. Well, I just had to wait a bit longer and see. So I waited and kept on checking, hoping for a surprise one day. But what's this? Not the sort of surprise I hoped for. There were people actually lighting fires next to my money trees. Didn't they realize that they could send tens of thousands of dollars up in smoke in one go? Well, this fire wasn't going to burn even one $2 note of mine. But what about other fires occurring? A firebird? That's what I need. No more risks of my money trees burning now, or ever again. My trees were growing strong and healthy over the years, but they were still not producing any money. Could they need cross-pollination or something? I was strolling through my woodlot one morning to make my usual check, wondering whether I should introduce bees to my lot when I heard a noise. I couldn't believe my ears. Someone was cutting down my trees. It was my wife, Edna. Silly woman. She wanted to use my money trees for firewood, to destroy my wealth. Never. She asked why we buy firewood when we have plenty right here. I said, our trees were far too valuable for that. Then she asked, why do we buy poles and other wood when we have our own woodlot? Because our trees were too valuable for that too. But the trees were costing us plenty of money and effort, she said. What for? It was nag, questions. I told her those trees were going to make us rich one day. I don't think she really believed me, but in the end, she promised to wait and see. As time went on, I was beginning to have really serious doubts about those trees. 6 years gone, and no money at all. Not even a cent. At last, I had to admit to myself, and that I had been cheated. So what to do now? There I was, stuck with a lot of useless trees, with no hope of them ever producing any money at all. But what's this then? Some of my neighbors were calling on me. They had noticed my beautiful trees, and they were asking me to sell them some wood. Well, I'd been protecting my trees against termites, cattle, fire, felling, and what have you, having been cheated into believing that these trees could produce money. So the idea of selling some trees would at least help me recover some of my losses. Suddenly, more and more people were coming to buy wood from me. I was wondering why. But of course, nearly all the trees around these parts had been cut down and wood was now scarce. Quite unobtainable, in fact. And I was the only one growing trees around here. And then I realized that my trees actually were money trees. Right now they were producing money in big bundles. A very good crop in cents and dollars, and tens and even 20, just pouring in from all sides. I'd never seen so much money at one time. And my wife admitted I was right about those trees. She never expected them to bring us all that money. It was not quite what I expected either. But in the end, my trees turned out to be real money trees after all.